I'm talking to Ralf Jordan, who's VP for Channels and EMEA for Lenovo. So congratulations, Ralf, on your new role running channels for Lenovo and EMEA. You're rejoining after 11 years. You've had a long history in the channel with other vendors in the industry. Tell us why you decided to rejoin Lenovo.
That's pretty easy, primarily because of three reasons. Emotions, my belief in the opportunity, and then last but not least, because of the job. Yeah? And I don't know if you recall, but I was part of the initial creation of Lenovo in 2005.
I remember.
When Lenovo bought the PC business of IBM. And that was a startup type of environment. It was entrepreneurial spirit, tons of learning opportunity. And already at that point in time, a strong vision to become the #1 vendor of the world at one point in time. And I made a comment in my announcement that it feels a little bit like going back to my first love, and the emotional bonding was clearly one of the reasons. The second one, my belief in the opportunity, maybe even more important than the first one. When you look into where Lenovo is today, I strongly believe that we have, together with our channel, the opportunity to replicate and make history and get as well to a leading winner in the infrastructure space. To be part of that journey, to help, and as well, hopefully as well, to be part of the success was another reason for me. And then last but not least, the job itself. Let's say you talk right now as Canalys quite often around the decade of the ecosystem. And I think there are so many things in the channel going on right now. Yeah? You do have channel partners coming together. You have a lot of work on business models innovation. Yeah? You do see verticalization approaches in the channel. Yeah? And at the end of the day, when you are running the channel, you need to be able to adapt to all of that. It's accelerating, and you always need to find answers. And therefore, it's for me one of the most exciting jobs that are out there.
And hopefully we can touch on a number of those topics. But let me start by asking, the theme of our event, the Canalys Channels Forum, is Spark. What do you see sparking most opportunity for Lenovo and its partners in the next 12 months?
I think it's important that it's in the Lenovo DNA to always drive a premium to the market. We always want to do better than the market. Therefore, when working with us as a channel, it's a safe bet. You try to optimize top line as well as profitability doing so. Yeah? And when we talk about sparking or enlightening a fire, yeah, as I mentioned, in my mind, the biggest headroom that we have is jointly with the channel to work and succeed in the infrastructure side of the business. Yeah? Let's say the demand triggers there are still high. The value business is doing well outside. Yeah? And I'm not only talking about the traditional service space. Yeah? If you take areas like multi-cloud or hybrid converged infrastructure, where we are working with players like VMware, Nutanix, Microsoft, all of them very keen to engage with us, I believe we have a big joint opportunity with the channel. Yeah? And when I got now in the first weeks education on the portfolio, I realized that when we talk about edge, it's a very competitive portfolio that we have, but obviously that leads to ISVs, that leads to who is driving edge solutions. Yeah? But I believe there's a lot that we can go after. Yeah? When we talk about the PC business, there is obviously some headwinds right now, without any doubt. Yeah? We want, together with our channel, to retain our #1 position that we have. And at the end of the day, there are still pockets of opportunity. Can we do better in SMB? Absolutely. Can we do better in this place? Absolutely. Yeah? And there are as well new revenue streams coming up that I believe are as well very exciting to develop them together with our channel in that area of smart home, smart collaboration, and so on. And for both of these areas, we need to find out transactional way of buying or consumption way of buying, and basically help as well our channel jointly to ultimately bring to the end users what they really demand in the most flexible way.
I mean, we are heading into uncertain times economically. What do you see as the biggest challenges that your partners face at the moment in the next, say, 6 months? What are you hearing from them today?
I think there's no doubt that we are in a kind of VUCA environment. Yeah? Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity is surrounding all of us. And I believe it's very difficult to predict the future where we are right now. On the other hand, when you are agile, when you are basically spot and then go after the opportunity, I believe that's the best way of succeeding in an environment like that. And I think it's what makes up the channel of Lenovo as well as Lenovo is our ability to be agile and as well to adapt to changes when they acquire and to do that in a fast manner.
But you talked about a number of different opportunities ahead. I mean, you talked about edge, you talked about services, solutions. Does that mean your partners have to change with Lenovo? I mean, it opens up some new opportunities that perhaps weren't always associated with Lenovo, which for many partners is predominantly around PCs. So how do you see the partners and your ecosystem? You mentioned ecosystem. How do you see that changing?
Let's say when you look into, to answer first, do we want any partner to force into change? The answer is no. If you are selling PCs, do that happily and be satisfied with that. That's okay. If you are selling servers, infrastructure, and you are happy to do that, you don't want to touch PC, that's okay. Yeah? But there are as well a number of partners out who basically face their end users and they want to offer the full portfolio. Yeah? So, and I think that's where the opportunity lies that we jointly have. Yeah? When it comes to demographics, let's say we obviously see some consolidation in the channel in terms of numbers of partners that are operating. I do believe that we had, during the pandemic, a couple of opportunistic channel partners coming in that are as well now going out. Yeah? So, but when it comes to Lenovo and the approach that we carry, I would say in the corporate reseller set, it's all about driving depth into the relationships, enabling and working together with our large partners to really sell from pocket to cloud. And when it comes to the SMB space, there's as well still acquisition portfolio, both for the PC area as well as for the data center business.
That takes us on to the next big topic, which is the fact that Lenovo is driving a much more integrated approach with the channel. With One Lenovo, with Lenovo 360, the idea of having a full end-to-end approach with your channel where partners are selling everything from clients, from PCs to servers, infrastructure and solutions and services. So talk us through the progress that you've made so far as a company, and I guess as you come into the role, what do you see needs to be done to kind of accelerate that?
Let's say more or less like 12 months ago, we announced the Lenovo 360 framework with the main objective of bringing together people, programs and tools to position Lenovo as a one-stop shop for everything from pocket to cloud. So within this 12 months, and that's a journey, yeah, because you know that we might have not operated like that in the past. Yeah? So and to support, to enable that, what progress have we made over the last 12 months? In every market within EMEA, you now have a combined channel organization. Therefore, one face to the channel representing us and working together with all of the channel partners on the entire portfolio. We have worked on processes and tools integration. Yeah? That as well, there was a lot of investment going into that, and you do see the first, let's say, returns of that investment when you look to the Lenovo Partner Hub, our portal for our channel, where you now have access to the entire portfolio. Yeah? We are continuing to work on streamlining processes as well when it comes to pricing with the Lenovo Bid Portal, but again, all of that is a journey. Yeah? So, and then last but not least, it's as well about financial rewards. As you might remember, we put in place the Better Together incentives, therefore motivating channel partners to sell multiple product lines and services from Lenovo. And let's say just in the second quarter, we saw the number of partners who are selling all lines of Lenovo growing by 10%, driving as well a revenue that was north of 10%. And I think it's working. Yeah, it's now when you say, okay, what do you think, what are the first findings after 6 weeks? Yeah? The transformational job that is ahead of us obviously takes time. That is not happening from one day to the other. Yeah? But I'm convinced we are going in the right direction. We can accelerate in a couple of areas. For example, when it comes to simple things, naming conventions that we use in our program world, the program setup. We're still, let's say, yes, it's one, but it's still a little bit looking like two. I believe that can be simplified. Yeah? We need to have a program that is rewarding our strategy that we are going after. Yeah? So, and as well, there's a job as well to be done when it comes to new routes or newer routes, service providers, ISVs, as I mentioned, to come up with a value proposition and then as well take those relationships into solutions that we bring into the market.
There will be a lot of partners watching this who maybe sell one part of the Lenovo portfolio, but they also have choice. You know, they have HPE, they have HP, they have Dell, they have others that they could work with. So what would your message be to those partners? What would be the benefit for them in selling Lenovo across the portfolio?
For me, Lenovo is the most channel-centric vendor that there is out there. Channel is in our DNA. Yeah? So, and there are alternatives, and as well, let's say, valid alternatives on the marketplace. But when it comes to position for the channel as well in front of the end users, I believe it's good to basically have one partner who can as well help the channel to go into new revenue opportunities. Yeah?
You're really pushing into services, and you mentioned services and solutions. So TrueScale is your as-a-service offer at Lenovo. What is the go-to-market model for TrueScale? To me, it looks still quite direct. Is this going to be a channel play in the future?
Let's say we are operating TrueScale as device as a service and as infrastructure as a service. When you look into the device as a service offering, I would say it's a completely channeled enabled model where we are able to take our hardware, software, lifecycle services, but as well complement at whatever the channel wants to bring into the solution. Yeah? So, and I believe that is this flexibility that device as a service brings is one of the key reasons why we as well see strong pipeline growth. We see such strong business growth. In second quarter in EMEA, the TCV for DAS basically went up 5 times compared to last year. Yeah? All of that channel business. Yeah?
Okay, very good.
So within the infrastructure as a service environment, I would say, yes, we're a little bit late to the party. Yeah? So, but I turn that into an advantage because the objective that we have is to replicate really this full flexible model that we have been able to identify in device as a service as well to the infrastructure side. Yeah? So, and the plan is that within this calendar year, we are starting to see as well the first fully channeled enabled motion with distribution, yeah, in the infrastructure as a service space.
You mentioned that you're tying it into compensation as well. So are there benefits for partners in selling TrueScale?
Absolutely. There are accelerators on rebates, yeah, and to sell TrueScale.
You also talked about new partner types. So can you talk about that a little bit? What do you mean by new partner types? You mentioned a number of examples, ISVs, MSPs, service providers, these kind of things. So is that one of your goals in EMEA, is to bring new partners into the Lenovo ecosystem?
I think we need to work as Lenovo on a value proposition to all parts of the market, yeah? And as well to enable that ecosystem that you basically that you are driving, yeah? So, and I think the business model of a service provider in part is different than the business model of a traditional reseller.
Absolutely.
And as a vendor, we need to listen to that. We need to understand it and basically as well programmatically support that. Yeah? Yeah? So as soon as we talk solutions, you are rarely finding a solution that only comes from one vendor. You need to integrate services. You need to integrate vertical solutions. Yeah? I mentioned that example on the edge. Yeah? Let's say when I came into Lenovo, one of the first business cases or reference cases that I saw was a joint work that we have done with Kroger in the US. Yeah? And as you might recall, I historically was dealing with retail. Yeah? Therefore, I was reading that. And it's really that we basically on the back of a kind of visual store solution implemented in all of their retail stores. Yeah?
Do you think there's still an opportunity for Lenovo to reach new partners in the SMB space? And,
yes.
and where does distribution play in that, for example?
I think, let's say, first to answer, absolutely. I think there is an opportunity still in SMB. And our way of joint success is via distribution. Yeah? That as well, I believe we have a very, very strong relationship with our distributors within EMEA. Yeah? And at the end of the day, if we want to reach, that's a sweet spot. Yeah?
Will they be a route to market for your services and solutions as well?
That's the intent.
Are you seeing that today or not?
Let's say when you take services as an example, services can be perceived as competing or conflicting out of the eyes of a channel partner. So, and we don't want to do that. Yeah? But if there are services that we can maybe cheaper do, better do, in a way that ultimately gets customers to rebuy from the channel partner, yeah, and drive retention, then we need to go after that. Yeah? So, and I think as well on the services side, when you look and let's say compare penetration rates of services close to the box as well as others, there's still a lot of joint opportunity that we have.
So one of the big topics we're talking about at this event is sustainability. Can you talk about what Lenovo is doing with your partners in the area of sustainability?
Let me maybe start by saying that I think in 2006, Lenovo posted the first time a sustainability report. And since then, sustainability is part of our DNA and as well as part of our agenda. And the way I'm looking to it is obviously you need to clean your own house, but you need as well to think the big picture. Yeah? So, and the way we are addressing sustainability is via circular economy. Yeah? And we are looking into that with smarter circular design, where it all comes to how do we build products, how does the supply chain set up, what materials do we use, are they reusable, are we using recycled materials, yeah? Power consumptions, all of that goes into smarter circular design. Second part is smarter circular usage, how to ultimately leverage all of that, yeah, on a day-to-day basis. And then finally, smarter circular return. Yeah? So, and these are the big umbrellas. Yeah? But when you think about the entire life cycle, you can't do that alone. You basically need to involve whoever is involved in the life cycle. So, and that was as well the idea of the Lenovo 360 circle that was created more or less like a year ago. 17 partners worldwide, big players in the industry, where there was not the intent to teach somebody what to do or what not to do, but ultimately to come together as an industry body, say this is what we want to achieve, how do we define KPIs, how do we learn, how do we work together to ultimately optimize processes. And I believe the feedback that we got and as well the learnings that we got out of that Lenovo 360 circle for the first 12 months are really motivating us to continue that journey. We will extend that as well in EMEA next year. Yeah? And I believe the task of driving sustainability is not a task of anybody alone. We need to tackle it as an industry.
So Ralf, what one piece of advice would you give to your partners to help them spark success in the next 12 to 18 months?
I think that's an easy one. Work with the most channel-centric vendor that is out there, and that's Lenovo. I think because of the ambiguity in the environment, be agile, yeah? And listen, be able to adapt to change, and as well tell us if there are things that we can do better.
Brilliant. Ralf, thank you very much. Nice to talk to you.
Thanks, Alastair.